Mrs. Zemansky, I began. Joanna, she said. Joanna, I continued. Before we do or say anything else, I want to make sure we're on the same page here in terms of what you're asking for and what I'm able to do for your father-in-law. Is that all right? Yes. Okay, I said. Now, you understand what a dispatcher does, yes? If someone's about to die, you fix it so they come back and they can get better, Joanna Zemansky said. I nodded. That's essentially correct. It was, in truth, only vaguely correct. The way I fixed someone who was about to die of natural or accidental causes was to kill them myself. Their death then became intentional, the work of a human agent. For more than a dozen years now, when someone went out of their way to kill someone else, 999 times out of 1,000, they came back. How and why this was happening was fodder for scientists and philosophers and religious figures. The practical and medical aspects of it were why I had a job. So you can fix Joe and bring him back, Joanna Zemansky pressed. It's essentially correct, I repeated, but it's also a little more complicated than that. I held up the file I had for Joseph Zemansky, which the hospital was required to give me for evaluation. It's the complications here that I want to go over with you. The law says you have to help us. She looked at me with a set jaw visible even through her mask, and I imagine Joanna Zemansky did not lose a whole lot of arguments with anyone. This was fine. I was not here to argue with her. Yes, I agreed. At the beginning of the recent pandemic, the state of Illinois passed the Family Compassion Act, which, among other things, gives families the right to request dispatch for affected next of kin when there is no superseding do not resuscitate request on file. This request can overrule the direction of the affected's doctor or insurer. I recited this like I had said it a few dozen times in the recent past because I had done just that. There was a reasonably good chance I could recite it in my sleep at this point. If you and your husband formally request this dispatch, I must and will perform it, Joanna. Don't worry about that. She relaxed slightly. She had been expecting a fight. But I need to explain to you why a dispatch might not be the right option here. This tensed her right up again. I continued before she could object. Again, if you request the dispatch, I'll provide it. But I want you to understand what I do and how what I do works. First, let's be very clear that what you're asking me to do is kill your father-in-law. He'll come back, though, she said. Usually, yes. But there's a small chance he might not, about 1 in 1,000. It's a small risk, but it's a real risk. In the time since Illinois passed the Family Compassion Act, 10 people who were dispatched died because of it. You have to accept that there's a chance your father-in-law might be the 11th. If he is, he'll be better than he is right now. She looked at her husband. Bill has a coworker whose dad was dispatched last year, and when he came back, they shot him up with all sorts of medicine and got his viral load way down. That can happen, I agreed. I don't know the details of that case, so I can't speak to it. I raised the file in my hand again. I've looked at your father-in-law's case. It says he had an accident at home and that he's been on a respirator here for a week. Yes? So? In a successful dispatch, when people return, their bodies typically reset to an earlier time, I said. It's why I can do what I do.